Hello, hello, I am Rangru.
And I'm Graham.
Here today with another 1v1 from Wargame Bootcamp Discord Elite Tournament. We're on our favourite high array. And who is battling it out today? Graham.
So driving from the left-hand side ring, in the blue we have Greyhound playing as blue for Mechanized. And then on the right, in the red, we have Nick Demand playing as NORAD.
So a bit of blue on bluest action.
Yes.
Blue 4 mag, absolute juggernaut of a deck. Just, you get everything that you ever need.
Let's be real, it's disgusting.
It's going to be. It's definitely gonna come down to those matches where really superior technology of the American equipment is gonna win the day.
One of the Canadian equipment.
Well, they got ADATs and that's about it.
They had your favorite Nick Demand open with your favorite units. Like he basically was screaming for Rangru to pick his game to be casted.
Yeah, he's got the Untoss, which honestly might as well be a rapid and mass destruction right here.
So do you think the Ontos is going to provide like some pivotal, moments in this match to swing it for Nick Demand?
Unironically, yes. There's a lot of, I mean, it's great against all the mechanized units. It's just gonna have a problem against the Abrams because Greyhound going for more of the heavier armor, less firepower play of his tank choices compared to just, trying to get some of the more fancy leopard runs.
Yeah, I like how for the for blue 4 Mechanized, right, that you would think, because there's obviously some deficiencies when it comes for an all-spec kind of a deck, because you're missing out on some of the prototype technology, and then the loss of points. But you still can bring M1A1s as blue 4 mech.
Yeah, that's pretty Gucci.
Yeah, I mean, the tank, while there will be obviously a gap between like the HE that we've seen Nick open up with, but I mean, good play. These are both elite players. It's not sometimes it's not as big of a deal as you would initially imagine. Plus, like his air tap has plenty of answers to armor.
Yeah, and mech in the end of the day is just spamming those 10-point infantry and 5-point transports. It's not a battle of technology. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're throwing down right now. The Milan's open up as well behind the M1A1s. So they're trying to go ahead and engage this M1A1 HA. It's gonna be really annoying. I'm gonna say HA. The HA does get hit though by I don't know what hit it, but it did lose 3 HP, and the mortar having to back up as well.
Probably the Milan F2 or the A1. Anyway, it's still good damage because that forces Nick Demand's, well, I don't say super heavy, but almost super heavy tank back into the forest.
Yeah, and we see Nick responding by buying 3 IPs, so those will come out there. I love the IP as an actual infantry support tank. It is a little on the expensive side, Rang, but it's got good armor, and it actually packs a pretty decent punch for the gun.
Yeah, and also just the extra machine gun helps a lot in grindy infantry fights such as this. We are seeing Greyhound is getting into that position, the H. Abrams moving up. It really feels like it's just going to be a battle of regular troop span. I mean, both sides have a lot of regulars, not a whole lot of shocks, which honestly probably favors Nick Demand a bit more because rifleman spam works pretty well in this sort of situation as just a NORAD deck.
Yeah, I think the big thing for him is going to come down to does he have enough support equipment to keep his he's going to have less amount of infantry. It's just but the rifleman span does kind of can extend that life scale, and especially against mechanized decks, you're really not. Most of the time, you're not going against a whole bunch of elite infantry. It's just not what the deck's composed of. But this IFV's right here, the Hachi Kusiki, I'm butchering that. But the Warriors going in hot right there, kind of shredding those riflemen.
Yeah, and I do love both sides using smoke very offensively. You've actually seen Greyhound smoke out the H.C. Abrams, very effective player. The A1's backing up, back and forth. And the Warriors, surprisingly, with their semi-automatic autocannons, actually doing decent damage.
Yeah, that might be one of the most, the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life. The semi-auto can.
It pretty much is.
Leave it to the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. And what you're going to have to see, I think, from Nick Demand here, he's going to need to leverage his superior firepower. Getting into the infantry trade game against mechanized decks just never works. And, these are obviously 2 of the best players in the game going at it, so he understands, I think, that basic concept. And we see it in his callouts here. He's giving some infantry to reinforce from the rifleman he lost, but he's bringing IPs out. He's bringing out the CEV. We don't even see that very often in our games.
Yeah.
But against these close quarter fights with infantry, it's effective.
Yeah, it works out quite well. Yeah, it's actually really interesting seeing CVs. Most people prefer to take the Vulcan, as it's 15 points cheaper. But honestly, it's really not that bad. 8 HE power means it will do a lot of damage to infantry squads on the other end.
Yeah, I think it'll almost one-shot a 10-man squad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty positive. It's a nasty piece of equipment. The big problem, I think, for Nick right now is she's lost the initial positioning. That doesn't mean the game's over by any means, especially at the elite level. There is more back and forth sometimes in these matches, but the opening engagement does matter a lot. And, the Leopards up on the far side there, the 65-point Dutch OP Recon Leopard tank, catching the M1 IP on the open, and the Fallschirmjäger trying to get him as well with the Carl Gustavs, and yet this whole push up there has now got to be reset as well.
That was really cocky from Nick Demand, moving his life reach with no infantry or recon support, so it was, pretty expected for him to lose that one Abrams. And those Leopards that's actually quite an expensive dump of having those two recon Leopards up north in Echo, because that's very limited where they can actually affect the battlefield. But he's managed to make the right call here, because they are doing serious work stopping Nick Demand's push.
Yeah, and they're also really they're really annoying to deal with. Just like the Yugo M84 and the Recon tab, they're just kind of like the cheaper version of that. And it's just, it requires a time investment to just kind of like push them out in the double stack there. The IP, well, if he could get up close and personal, I think it'd be fine here. But Dill was one-tap him now with his current HP.
Yeah, A10 actually being brought out. I'm actually surprised we've seen an A10.
He's trying to keep it spotted right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to keep it spotted here. The A10 should clean this up real easily. Yeah, nice pick off there. Now you want to see an evac here because there's a Flak Panzer Gepard in the back. Yeah, but he's not going to get in range. Yeah. And nice play there by Nick.
I'm actually surprised he got that first rather than getting an Apache Longbow. Because it's always inevitable when an all-red player or American player will buy an Apache Longbow. At least he didn't buy two off the start. That would be a bit degenerate.
I think a reason why you don't see it would be degenerate, absolutely. But I think a big reason why you don't see the Apache Longbow brought out, like, typically at this level of skill, is because it's too easy for a 90-point fighter to kill it, right? Yeah. Especially in 1v1s, it's just, there's not always a lot of AA, there's more room to maneuver, and so some of these, like, we see it just at the top level, like, I'm not going to panic over the Longbow, or another, like, we didn't talk about this, you could have a Stinger team just chilling.
Yeah.
He has no recon forward, so I think the A10 is the smart call-out.
Yeah. And hopefully we get to see its gun go burr.
Yes, we obviously want to see the gun go burr.
Mm-hmm.
Up and to the right.
Yes!
These HAs, though, are back in action, but they're running right into the Swedish ATGMs. Now, there is a point where you can kind of face tank that a little bit and try and kill them. The Swedes did evacuate there, and they're going to go and back up. And these HAs are going to need to be repaired, which is something we see like really often in these top-level games, is they don't lose their heavy tanks too often, rank. And so it ends up being like these engagements. They each pull back, repair their tanks. They add more into it until it finally kind of like culminates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just about buying time for stopping the heavy tanks to fully commit to a push. So you can just... Because it takes time to bring up the supply vehicles. And honestly, I'd be curious to see, like, on average, how much, like, super heavy tanks just drain in terms of point of all supply. Oh, A10 coming in once again. Trying to go for CV?
I don't know, but this is a bad call here by Nick. And yeah, he's going to probably lose this Abrams. I mean, not Abrams, this A10. I mean, it's a flying Abrams, right? Yeah, and he does go down.
Yeah, hawked him.
I was just hyping him up, and then look at that happens.
Gets blapped. Yeah, I do like what Nick the Man is doing. Instead of trying to just grind right through Delta, yeah, we are seeing actually Greyhound just rush down the highway. He's kind of hitting towards the middle of like Gulf and Echo, or Delta and Echo, which is much better for his deck. You don't want to be getting into a CQC fight. You want to leverage the range of your superior vehicles to actually get kills.
I think what's really hurting him is lack of information. He's kind of using these riflemen, these M113s, even his tanks to an extent, to kind of be like the forward, observers for him. There's just not a lot of recon in front, and so he's kind of pushing into some weird angles here. But I do think he's still in a good spot. Like overall, it's not like necessarily bad. You can do, what do we call it, like recon by force or fire? So I think what they say. He's definitely living at it. Yes, they are very cheap. I mean, just 10 points. And what's the M13? Isn't it 15 points to call it that rifleman spam?
Yeah, 15 points, which is perfect against mech decks. I was thinking about this the other day, what makes mech so powerful as compared to Moto. It's like just having the base 5-point transport goes so long. Because it's like...
it's huge.
Yeah, you don't really realize it because it's just 5 points, but spending like 15 points versus even just 20 points to get that 10-point transport is huge. I mean, you get the speed, but in the grind fight, speed doesn't really matter.
No, because I mean, I'm not a math major by any any claim, but when you can call out infantry for 15 points versus 20 points in a 40-minute game, I mean the numbers right there speak for themselves. And then it just ends up being you want to have longevity against the mech deck because a lot of times we'll see it, Rang. Players will have good openings, but they just can't sustain themselves against just all the shit that gets thrown at them by mechanized decks, and they end up just being worn down.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it here, like, I mean, Greyhound just has so much stuff already on the map. Because for the most part, it's pretty cheap. It's not, now these HAs, they could end up being decisive, and that's typically what you have to see when you're going an unspec deck against a mechanized deck, is that the specialized equipment that you bring out has to get major value.
Yeah, you gotta have a Gucci KD ratio, and as HA Abrams are playing it a bit dangerously here, because Fusilier 90s can... Actually, yeah, they can do, like, decent damage. The HA, I do forget, is...
Yeah, it's 22 AP on the wall, 80. Yeah, the HJ's she's a beast for sure, 20 frontal armor. But all it takes is exposing your side to one of those law 80 shots, and this game is, it's almost over from there.
Yep. Oh, I do like his Roviet spam trying to push those Rangers out, because those Rangers had some pretty Gucci line of sight. And they're just, what is really machine guns.
Those Rangers.
Yeah, 3 machine guns on the 5-point transporter, 2 frontal armor. Not OP.
Yeah, not OP, Eugen. Which, I mean, to go back to what we were saying, though, Ring, that's a 5-point transport. So you're saying that's a 10-point infantry unit in the Roviet 90 in a 5-point transport. And that's just so much... That's more firepower than even Nick his infantry can bring out for the same exact price.
Yeah, it's such good values. Which what makes Blue 4 mech so good is his Roviats and Zeldas allows you to just... It's the same thing with Yugoslav, with the M60 PBs and Mechanovas.
Yeah, the Mechanova spam is real. I like how both players have basically said that Golf Charlie is like a no man's land, and we're just gonna avoid it for most of the match.
It's literally one M1 on 3 from Nick the Man.
Oh, nasty Shumat from the side.
Oh,
he got the Shumat into the triangle forest, and it snakes its way all the way across, hitting that HA. The one that was full health as well, or I think it was, maybe 9 HP, and then it goes down. A huge loss there for Nick.
Yeah, and actually that really plays into your point just from a little bit earlier. But all it takes is one misclick with your Gucci super unit, and you just lose so much momentum. Here we're going to bring up another super unit, Nighthawk, to punish that.
Yeah, but the problem, and this is where it gets, dangerous for unspec decks, is that the Nighthawk, you use that 150-point plane to kill that 25-point ACGM squad, who already killed a 140-point tank. So, it just, Wargame almost becomes a game of math at times. The trades become very important, probably more so than any other Eugen game out there. And when you get into the hole early, it's just so hard to come back.
Yeah, it's really not too much of a comeback mechanic other than just getting good.
Yeah, other than just getting good. I mean, a lot of times you need your opponent to mess up. That's just how it kind of works out here. This DAP pushing him forward. He's living life dangerous. He does kill the M3. Oh, he just took a Hawk missile to the face.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's even a helicopter left.
I like how the model's still intact. Because in real life, that thing wouldn't even exist. There'd be nothing left of that helicopter.
The missile was like the size of the helicopter.
Yes, it literally would be like a nuclear bomb hitting that helicopter. Might as well be.
Just big blapped.
Very inefficient use of the Hawk, but I mean, hey, this is Wargame Red Dragon. We in Southeast Asia on a highway to Seoul, and nobody cares.
Yeah. No one cares. But no, Greyhound has been doing a very good job trading here. He's got some very Gucci picks, and he's more importantly just holding territory. I mean, Echo is going to be difficult for him to contend with just due to the technology difference. But Delta, he can grind out for days. If he can just keep baiting Nick Demand to just race points, money, tanks, etc. in Delta, he's got us in the bag.
Yeah, because now when you get to the point, the DAP that was shown by Hotel has finally been spotted, the Peace Rhyme going in, misses his Sidewinder, but the second one does connect. And as I'm saying right there, helicopters, the balances, while they are extremely powerful, this isn't Warno. They will die. And it's interesting to see, that's why you don't see at the top level, helicopters like the Longbow get brought out too often. It's just, you're just begging to lose 150 points.
Yeah, I mean, look at even Greyhound. The only helicopter in the helicopter tab is just a cheap fire support Cobra. Because
Yes.
you just use it as like a quick reaction force to just blow up some infantry.
Yeah, a lot of times, and this does hold true a little bit into the best. Sometimes the helicopter's a good panic button. Like, it's just like, hey, I need some immediate fire support in a critical area. But, like, the cheaper ones typically, I think up until probably the VP, the Mi-24 VP, that holds true. But once you get past that 100-point level, you're kind of like, am I really going to get 150 points of value out of this helicopter? Especially because they are so vulnerable to, so many things in your deck.
Yeah, because you can basically buy a heavy tank for that, and it has better frontline presence because it can actually take a missile to the face. Well, yeah, this isn't Warno, the helicopter.
It can exert itself on the map.
Yeah. Well, helicopters are much more of a reaction force. They're good for plugging holes in the line when the enemy overexposes themselves. You can't just attack, move, and just kill everything. Because that's how helicopters die.
Yeah, because think about this, like the best helicopter play that we typically see in 1v1s that we cast, it's like MI-17s, right? It's Panthers, it's the Ka-29s, shout out to the Grape Jelly Man there. It's those ones that you see because they're cheap, they're relatively cheap. You brought them in to bring in your CV, and then they exert some quick fire support in your opening engagements, and that's where we typically see them shine. The longer the game goes on, they just don't, unless it's just a beatdown, right? Someone's getting clubbed. It's just they don't really have a long life expectancy. So you might as well, if you're going to 50 points, get the Nighthawk or go get the Abrams tank.
There's something which can blow stuff up. But now we're really seeing Nick Taman. He's playing very defensively now. He hasn't not traded out effectively. He's really just setting up, the Echo or the Bravo defensive line. He's got Echo under control. It might be better. That's what I was saying.
Does he evacuate the dance floor?
Probably be his best bet, because Delta's just a fortress. It's no point contending. At least Charlie Gopher are some open areas where he can fight over, and then you just Nighthawk the rest.
Yeah, because the problem, like, this isn't like a 3v3, right? Like, there's no ability. You're never going to get enough firepower to break that position in the 22 minutes that's left in the game, right? Like, Greyhound will just have to stop being able to move units. So instead of this is a sign of a good player. Instead of saying, hey, I'm just going to attack frontally in a Delta, it's time to make a change. Though he might be Thunder running the road.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a better move, but it is a move.
Yeah, it is a move. He's got Rifleman at least leading the charge, going to be doing recon by force.
Once again, yeah, the Riflemen being forced to evacuate their M113s at point-blank range. It's like the Revolution all over again, the Fusiliers and the Riflemen throwing down.
Yeah.
Nick, this is for America. Just remember that. And,
we need some German mercenaries now.
Yeah, we're the Hessians.
Yeah.
I mean, this push will, I think, succeed in taking the Triangle Forest, but I don't know where does he go after that. Because look how much. I mean, just look how much shit there is.
Yeah, I guess one thing he could do is just hold the Triangle Forest and then sink the CV in the corner. It's going to be a very obvious spot to Kern acid, of course. But I would at least put some points on the board for him.
Yeah, which is something big. There is the Kernas option here. Fox and Miagra and the Warriors trying to do some damage here. That Abrams actually is going to need ammo. He's down to 11 rounds.
Wow.
He watched his homie die. No, not ideal. And now he's tangling with an M1A1 right there, point blank range, along with the Japanese IFE that has that. What's that? Jayumat?
Jaimat, which is a pretty mediocre ATGM.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy. You're not writing home to your mom about it, but it's not horrible.
No.
I don't think it's horrible. Maybe for 25 points, somebody in the comment section will say, "Hey, it's not the most cost-effective use of a transport," but I feel like I'd rather use it than the Maltuka.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, the TV shoot at point blank range. Oh snap! Oof. Yo, he's got trashed right there.
Oh, the HA just got trashed in return.
Yeah, wow. We're throwing blows right now.
Yeah, Abrams blowing up Abrams.
But that 35 mil on the Hachiku Siki gets the job done right there, killing both of the CVs after they try to point blank blap him with some HE. And yeah, once again, I just don't see these trades aren't benefiting Nick.
Yeah, he got a little bit too close there of the HAs, and A1s at close range are quite deadly against a slightly more heavily armored brethren, yeah. And as we're seeing, Gophers now has that CV in it. We're actually seeing defenses under Goph being thrown in here from Greyhound, so he might be sensing what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny about Greyhound is he could literally just march forward into Charlie and completely have that under his control, which is really common on, especially when we cast highly to soul, mechanized versus unspec decks. This actually happens routinely. I would say typically the unspec player does hold on to Delta longer and they kind of lose Echo, but the mech player just has so much, substance on the map that it ends up kind of just strangling the other player.
Yeah, if you're playing mechanized and your opponent is not mechanized and you lose Delta, you've done something wrong. That's like #1 play on this map all the time here. And for Greyhound, he's just traded really effectively. I mean, just looking on the map from Nick the Man, he's having to invest another HA.
Two more. About 2 more. I think that's all. I think it's 4, right?
Yeah.
I think you get 4 in the deck?
Yeah, he's got 4 in the deck. No, he's got 6 in the deck.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah. But it's still like heavy investment of just tanks he's having to keep rebuying, and honestly, the HAs haven't really gotten that much value.
No. I mean, if we compare them to the M1A ones that Greyhounds use, they've gotten way more value. On the Peace Ryan coming in, smacking that HA in the front, but once again, he's got to back it up and get it repaired. It's almost why you see the heavy, it's like the heavy mediums rank. And I would say that the M1A1 is one of those that like T64 BV stuff like that, which are, while they're not quite like super heavies, they have 20 AP roughly. They have 17, 18 frontal armor, and for 110, 15, 20 points, they're essentially doing the same thing that you're using the super heavy for, but you're saving on that back end because you're not spending 175 points to get it out. Or even this case, 115 versus 140, that adds up.
Yeah, especially a long time over a match. We're also seeing the Longbow only took 22 minutes, has been brought onto the field. Will this get value?
I'd be very scared if I was the Longbow. Now, the one benefit I'll say is we haven't seen a lot of like anti-helicopter AA, like the Flak Panzer Gepard. He can outrange that. The Hawk, I believe, the Hawk I think is only like, actually no, the Hawk might be able to blap him.
Yeah.
The Hawk has a pretty good range. I'm gonna go look.
But I believe.
Yeah, 3,500 against helicopters. Yeah, so that Longbow is a.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I really forgot that's like super long range. That's really good for. I mean, it's resource intensive. That's good for a mech deck.
Yeah, it's really good. So like I see why you brings it out there now. I mean, some quick firing shots there from the Hellfires, trying to get some hits. The Longbow looking for some tanks really, and we see right there smacking. So one A1 does go down right there, along some other vehicles. The other A1's trying to back up. Has he killed 2 A1s already with the Longbow?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But now he's...
The fire forget missile just... I mean, he's already used over half his ammunition load, but definitely I think the Longbow's already paid itself off. But Nick's in a big hole, so he's going to need it to continuously provide damage for the rest of this game.
Oh! You see what the IHawked just did?
Yeah! Oh my god.
It hurt itself in its own confusion.
Again! Yo, it suicided itself. We're gonna need a trigger warning on this game.
What the? Okay, that happening once is impressive. That happening twice and then blapping itself. What are the odds?
Eugen's doing something with the code, boys. That's proof right there. That's proof right there. Eugen is still going in the game, and they're messing with it. Like, I like how Nick has the Chinook like he's going in.
He's like trying to investigate what went wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, did that happen?
That was some psychological warfare. They convinced the IHawk team to blow themselves up.
But that's honestly a really big advantage here for Nick, because that gives his Longbow even better range. I mean, there's still another IHawk up and about, but it was annoying, especially as NORAD, as you want to be utilizing your air power.
Yeah, absolutely. But the problem, I think, for Nick here is that it's just the HAs. He needs some infantry support badly with them. But, I mean, he's done a good job of getting back into this area. The Longbow almost single-handedly, kind of propelling him forward, a little bit of momentum. They took personal offense when I said they can't exert frontline presence. And so he's clearly trying to do that now. I mean, he's about to pop some... Oh, but the nice micro there by Greyhound to get his infantry unloaded in time.
Indeed. And he's gonna... Oh, he's gonna hit CV!
He gets the CV, though, and the Hawk team with the Longbow The Longbow did well, though.
Yeah,
I have to say, the Longbow did do well.
He got value. He definitely got value, especially at CV snipe at the end. It definitely helped him bring him back into the match, because now the HC Abrams have a little bit of breathing room to actually do damage here.
Right. No, I think that the question will be, does it give him enough of an opening to make the magic happen? Because this is Highway to Seoul. There's no 2-point sector to grab, so you know what I mean? There's not going to be a way to easily get points back. And Charlie's gone, and there's no hope of taking Charlie back, I think, for Nick at this current time.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough now, because he's pretty much bottlenecked himself into attacking Delta, which is... He's traded efficiently here, but it's also because Charlie has been a heavy investment for... Well, not super heavy investment, but still. He's invested points into that sector, so we're probably going to see a huge reinforcement wave soon of just, you know, Roviach and other blokes. I mean,
the Cobra could do some action here, because there really isn't like a ton of point investment in the Charlie, but it's enough because you can cover all the major forest lines for the most part. Here's Greyhound. You have the Recon Leopard, which will help delay. There is no AA though. The Gepard's way back by the Echo Sarit in Golf, so actually a Sheep Helicopter could do some work over there.
He's actually brought a bunch of manpad troops now after that Longbow's got 3 of the Japanese singers being brought on up, so he is prepared for another Longbow incursion. Which also, like with helicopters, they get the most value in that like initial shock attack before the enemy can actually, you know, bring up heavy anti-aircraft unit. That Longbow, he died fast, but he left a very nice body.
Live fast, die young.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's from a song. But yes, and so that's typically your right rank. Like that's where helicopters they go in hot, they blaze. They're like Icarus. They go too close to the sun, and they get their wings melted off. Quite literally, if it was like the DAP or the Longbow taking the Hawk to the face. But I'm really not sure. I think almost he has to send it into Delta. Like I think this needs to be wiped because at some point he is bringing reinforcements to try and go to Charlie. But he only has 12 minutes left in this game. Now, if he stays at a constant +1, I think he might get there.
Yeah.
A little short, I think.
And it's going to be... Charlie's going to be a pain once the CV drops onto it or neutralize everything. So maybe just trying to get into Foxtrot. What he needs to do, Graham, is he needs to buy all the on-tosses in his deck and push them through Delta.
Yes.
I'm being unironic here, like... On-toss spam and Delta would actually do really well against all the infantry, and also the like Leopards and heck even M1s at close range. Just the rapid fire rate. Yeah, and Rifleman spam. You just go in like Vietnam.
That back for us.
Yeah.
I mean, he has enough firepower, I think, to break this. It'll be close. It'll be close. The HAs are damaged is one big concern. There is still an M1A1 chilling out there. Now he's damaged as well, but there's nothing crazy here. Oh, and the Swedish RBS is actually out of ammo, and so so he's trying to bring up some more. There's a timing here. There's a timing. If Nick hits it right here, he could probably wipe most of this and then force Greyhound into attacking him. But at the same time, the loss of Charlie, I mean that clock is ticking, Ring.
Yeah, he needs to get that momentum and keep it. He cannot afford to have his push be stopped. And I do like Ray's attacking kind of like diagonally through Delta, because this is kind of cutting like Greyhound's forces in half a bit. It's risky, and he really needs to probably deal with that left half in Delta in the triangle in the Foxtrot area triangle forest. There's actually 2 triangle forests. I didn't even really notice that till now. Like make that connection.
Right. Yeah, no, there is. We just always label the one, but you're right. It is technically it's a weird triangle.
Yeah.
It's not natural.
No. How do I do trigonometry on it?
I have no idea. I don't even know what that means. But the STRF engaging with this boat first cannon on the main road there, dismounting this infantry from Nick Demand, so it's going to slow down this push here a little bit. He's going to have a hard time killing that, at least from that direction. The Ontos should go into the side. I mean, I kind of agree with you to an extent. The Ontos would not be a bad option right now. He does have the point for the most part. He's in control here, but the CV is going to drop here in Charlie, and that's going to end this +1. So that he's got 2 options. He sends it all into Charlie, or he sends it all towards Foxtrot.
Yeah, he just needs to send it all somewhere, and the Foxtrot defense is now getting pretty deep. We're seeing lots of ATGM troops, a decent amount of infantry in the forest. Maybe Charlie might be the smarter play, the safer play. I mean, geography-wise, it's
a weird angle.
Yeah, it's a weird angle to attack from. We've got the A1s fighting the HAs and Greyhound Abrams down to 1 HP. So, very decisive engagement here from Nick the Man. It's really gonna, I think, come down also just the, like, 3 Musketeers of Abrams here from Nick the Man to just get value. But it can only be in so many places.
3 Musketeers going forward.
Mm-hmm.
They're ride or die right now.
Well, they're splitting up.
Oh, no,
One of them's ride or die. The other 2 are like, yeah, homie.
Vasquez said, I'm going in, but Hernandez and Calhoun, they dipped. They left their boy behind.
Mm-hmm.
You never leave the boy behind.
No. Oh, Ontos trying to kill the Flak Panther. Gets the kill.
Ryza dies there, but nice pick off. This A1 is trying to engage here. HA does back up, but there is a Falkenberger squad, which does have Carl Gustavs. He needs to be careful if he can get in the backside of that Abrams. Oh, that HA just rolling up and smacking that M1A1. But there is still a... Carl Gustav hits in the side, down to 1 HP. Oh, is the Rifleman going to be able to finish him off?
No.
No. Oh, the Falkenberger with his, like, 1940 submachine gun going to kill, but the IP just going in hot.
Yep, he doesn't care. Oh, another longbow.
Yeah, the longbow here. I mean, there's not a lot for him to kill, like heavy vehicle wise. But I mean, the Zeldas are annoying.
Yeah.
Is it worth the cost of a Hellfire? I don't know. It's a great question.
Most likely not. But the Zelda is also like extremely cost efficient. Really, it could be a 10-point transport.
Come on, Eugen.
But don't worry, like give us enough of like
Rank, we should get you started on like a rant about how that was the beginning of the OP DLCs for Eugen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really Israel. I mean, honestly, it did a very good job of Netherlands. It was some gimmicky stuff. Like the launch was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the issue the lance like comes from like why are we giving that to the Netherlands? Like when you have the United States and the Soviet Union, they're saying like why does the United States get the Patriot, but there's no like S-300 equivalent for the Soviet Union? You know, it's just kind of it's like Eugen was just picky weapon systems. Like this one's cool, which is fine. It does make for fun gameplay.
Finis F-18.
Yes, I mean. That was somebody in the Eugen team.
AMRAAMs.
Yeah, someone in the Eugen dev team back then really liked Finland, and they were like, I know this didn't come to like 2008 or whatever, but we're making it happen. Or I mean, Yugoslavia with the L-19.
Yeah, the Boomba.
I mean, we joke about it. It's funny. South Africa with the Carver, and I think it remotely real.
Mm-hmm. Well, Roycat 105, the Logum.
I think the Roycat 105 makes more sense though than the Logum.
It does, yeah. They only made like one. They only made one prototype, and it was with the 105. They were planning with the Run Trannies, but well,
yeah.
A heavy tank in South Africa is not exactly that useful.
Doesn't really make that much sense.
No.
But no, what you see here. So back to the actual game that we're casting though. There is 6 minutes left on the clock, but Nick is in a rough spot here. He's done a really good job in the second half of this game, trying to get back into it, Rang. But the problem for him now is that I think he's lost the momentum.
Yeah, he's just been pinned down now in Delta. We're just seeing all the fields of fire, which Greyhound is putting down. And yeah, Delta is just not going to get pushed. It's probably going to come down to Charlie, but even then, with only 6 minutes left, he needs to, like, get a CV into Charlie, and then kill the enemy CV to get a +2. But even then, Delta can just be neutralized here from Greyhound, and that will buy him time.
Oh, that DAP went in so hot to go kill those Cobras, and then just got blapped. But he got smacked right there. Rip.
Big blapped indeed.
I mean, he's got a command take coming, so he's going to try and put that in the back half of Charlie. That will get him the +1, but the +1 will not win him the game anymore. So he needs a +2, like you said, somewhere, which means this force here needs to just send it into the depths of Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, Longbow just needs to go in hot. And now he's going to start getting stingered.
There goes. He flew too close to the sun.
Oh, barely gets out.
Yeah, barely gets out right there. That Stinger team's trying to get him. The Flak Panther trying to move up. The Kurnas being deployed. Been waiting for it all game. It's probably going to go down here because of experience, but it annihilated that Abrams.
Yeah, and Peace Ryan coming in. Oh, it doesn't actually get the Sidewinders off on the Longbow.
No, but he did black one the Centurions, but this push is now dead.
Yeah.
I mean, he might like the tank can probably get in there, but it's gonna be another minute before the tank's even there. I mean, the Abrams will be hard to kill at least for the immediate future here. The Longbow should be able to keep back the majority of this force, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much right in the rule here for Nick Demand. Especially now flag.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the M36 is going for the TACOM and Echo, if they have enough gas.
They might have to push it to get to the other end.
It's a big if.
Yeah.
They might legit run. Oh no, yeah, they are legitimately going to run out of gas.
Well, now they're bunkers.
That's what happens when you bring World War II tanks to a modern warfare game.
Yes. It just run out of gas.
Just run out of gas. I mean, the Abrams almost ran out of gas earlier.
It did. Gas hungry.
They are gas hungry. That's actually a very real statement. I'll say what's Charlie.
I'm full of real statements.
I can tell. You wanted the suicide Ontos charge. You claim to love the Ontos, but you were more than willing to allow them to suicide themselves into Delta.
They serve the United States.
They do serve the United States. As do we all. But the RBS right there, pushing back the Abrams. What's funny is that it leaves its last missile. So Nick could just keep shooting at it with his 2 HP Abrams, but I don't think he knows that.
No. We probably just take us times 2 at 3 minutes 15.
Okay. 3 minutes 15 times 2i.
And times 2. Yeah, it's just so close. Once again.
Got blap, but it killed the TACOM.
Especially like high rate of shore, like you said, no +2 sectors, so against mech decks, it's very hard to get that decisive comeback by making, a good penetration push somewhere, because you're just not going to get much value only running one flank. You need to run all the flanks, and mech deck is good at all flanks because it can afford to cover all flanks.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Mech is very, very strong on Highway to Soul. I mean, Mech's strong in almost every map, in the 1v1 pool, but it does very well on Highway to Soul. It's rare that we cast a Mech versus unspec deck on this map, and the Mech deck loses.
Yeah, it's just, especially blue for Mech. I'm surprised we don't cast it as much or see it as much, but it might be one of the best Mech decks. Like, it has a core.
But what do you say? I mean, but I feel like Entente Mech's probably better.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. They got all the power creep stuff. The prototypes in Entente Mech is what makes that Gucci.
No, absolutely. It does all those fancy prototype Yugoslav units that were totally real. 100% make it happen. But no, I wish, once again, me wishing for something that will never happen. But if we could see the kill list, like actually in time, like you can at SC2, because I really feel like Greyhound was obviously ahead, and then Nick had a very good counterattack where he was trading really well for about 10 minutes. And so the 800-point gap is a little big in a 1v1, but it's roughly where I expected it to land towards the end.
Yeah, especially just some of the more powerhouse units like Longbows and HAs getting blapped. Yeah, does do quite a damage on your KD score. And also, I guess, the IHawked actually blowing himself up kind of helps, not help with the KD.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it doesn't really help that much. Plus, what's the IHawk of?
85?
80 points?
80 points, yeah.
But yeah, no, overall, it was a really good game to cast. And obviously, 2 of the best throwing down on Highway to Soul, which is one of my favorite maps. So, great pick, Ringru.
Yeah, honestly, good job for Nick for, even though he didn't win that, he managed to get himself back into the game for just a bit, considering he was not doing good at the start, like you said.
He made it interesting. He came back and was like, listen, I ain't hear no bell. America was down.
America. But, yeah, we'll leave it off here. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and as usual, please just take it easy.